Hello, my spooky friends, and welcome. Today, I'm going to show you how to do a third-degree chemical burn on the face using MEHRON'S 3D gel. I picked this product because I've never used it before, and I wanted to see what was available out there that was a little bit more portable than mixing your own gelatin. But that's okay if you don't have this. I do have a tutorial about how to mix gelatin, how to color and store it. That way, you can pop it in the microwave, and you can take it along to Halloween parties if you need to do your makeup on the spot, and other things such as Comic-Cons, horror-con, and cosplay events. So I hope you enjoy it. So grab your items and let's go ahead and get into it.
First, a hot bath is required to warm up this gelatin. You can also pop it in the microwave for small amounts of time, but be sure to take the cap off. To make my blisters, I'm using a mixing plate and a spatula, and always be sure to test on your skin before you apply it to your face. I'm dipping into the jar, I grab a good amount and I begin to tap onto the plate, and the gel is going to actually fall off the spatula, and that's what you want to see in order for that to be a big glob onto the plate. So make as many as you think that you need. To begin my burn, I start thin on the outer area and then working my way toward the center of the cheek area. Now it gets a little bit thicker on the cheek area, and what you want to do is tap and lift and not tap and glide. We're going for a chemical burn straight into the skin on contact and not something that is dripping or falling off of the face. I then begin to move my gelatin from the center out to get a good thick ridge of skin. So you want to void in that centerpiece because that's where most of the damage is going to be. And then just continue to go around the area of your face that you want this burn to be, building it up a little bit as you go, and before it sets up, creating the voids that you need. Once you tap and lift, you'll have some indentions, but in order to sell it, to make it look really third degree, you want a nice hole and void into the center of the cheek area. That's the area that has the most fat, and so it's going to have the most damage. Be sure to get you some really good medical reference photos for the area that you're working in. It will help you as you go along. And now that the gelatin is starting to set up, I continue to push that away from the face, creating the bigger ridges for that center damaged area. I then lift the blisters off of the plate and place them randomly along this area, but do concentrate that where most of the fat is so it blisters and festers before it actually bursts open. I then use some setting powder to get everything secure. And I am using alcohol paints today. This comes from the Narrative Cosmetic line, and they have this nice mauve that I'm using for irritation. And then I'm going to use the yellow for the blisters in the center of the wound, and then back and forth with a little bit of red to show more irritation. Now with a fluffy brush, I go in and work my way from the outer to the center, and the irritation on the skin, you think about initial contact and that the chemical burn runs and irritates the rest of the skin that didn't have direct contact. So I create a pattern all the way down to the jaw area and onto the neck. I then go in with my yellow and I start to color the blisters and really concentrate that yellow into the center where we created the void, because that's where the most damage is and that's where the fat is, and when the fat is exposed in that way, it shows up yellow. And since this is a chemical burn, you're not going to have a lot of bleeding blood, none at all really. So just take your blood tone and push that up against the skin to give it dimension and have that 3D look to it. You want to push that up against the edges and then go around the blisters also. Now keep in mind, if you're going for a fresh wound, like you're working on the set and you have a damaged skin right in the moment after an accident, keep your colors light. My colors are based on someone that's had this damage and they're waiting to be seen, and chances are they've sat around at a hospital, and the more necrotic the skin gets, the darker the damage is on the face. Working my way out with the red, I tap in color with alcohol paints. If you have too much, you can use your fingers to tap it in. And these are the divots we created when we tapped and lifted with the gelatin. To add more dimension and to really sell this 3rd degree burn, I'm using white cream paint to go over the high points in the skin and up against edges, because those have lost oxygen and they are damaged. They are going to look more white than the flesh tone. And then I go in with a little bit of white and yellow over those blisters just above the high points to bring them out and give them more dimension. In order to have more necrotic skin, I go in with a little bit of green, black, and yellow to show the area that's going to turn necrotic and black first if you don't get medical help. And if you've been here long enough, you know me, I like to make it as nasty, gnarly, and as gross as I possibly can. So here is the final look. This is a chemical burn in the 3rd degree. I hope you had fun checking this video out. I hope you have fun doing this one yourself. Let me see your looks, tag me, and if you're enjoying yourself, hit that subscribe button and find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Those links are listed below. And now that you mastered a chemical burn, why not hang out for this next burn for the 4th of July where we burn our face and our hands, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.